Have you ever noticed how, after something big happens, something that changes everything, the world feels just a little different? Quieter, slower, like it's waiting to see what we'll do next. It's in that quiet that the real story begins. The story of what we carry forward and how we choose to begin again. The aftermath of any major event, be it personal, communal, or historical, often brings with it a range of emotions and uncertainties. In those early days after a significant change, people may feel disoriented, sad, or even numb. The world can seem quieter or heavier, as if it's adjusting to something it doesn't quite understand yet. During these times, healing doesn't come all at once. It moves slowly, like a gentle wave returning to shore. Some days might feel better and others may bring memories that hurt all over again. But healing isn't a straight line. It's a process of learning how to live again, how to hold space for sorrow while still making room for hope. In the aftermath, people often look for comfort in small things: a familiar song, a kind word, a peaceful walk. These little acts begin to shape the journey forward. The pain doesn't vanish, but it softens, and with time, people learn how to carry it differently. Healing also involves connection. When people talk about what happened, when they feel seen and heard, when they know they're not alone, something begins to repair inside them. It's not always easy to talk about what hurts, but sharing pain with others who understand can help lighten the burden. Sometimes people feel pressure to move on quickly, to be strong, to go back to normal. But healing isn't about rushing. It's about honoring what was lost while still being open to what might come next. Each person moves at their own pace, and that's okay. The path through the aftermath is not one size fits all. It's deeply personal, shaped by love, memory, and the human spirit's quiet strength to begin again, even after everything has changed. In the wake of any powerful experience, whether painful or profound, what we choose to learn from it becomes the foundation of what we leave behind. The legacy we create isn't built only from what happened, but from how we respond. When people pause to reflect, when they ask themselves what really mattered, that's when growth begins. Some moments teach us to be more patient. Others remind us of the value of standing together. And some remind us how fragile life can be, urging us to treasure it more deeply. Lessons are not always loud or obvious. Sometimes they come in the quiet moments of reflection, in the stillness that follows the storm. A simple realization like how important kindness is can transform the way we walk through the world. These lessons shape the future, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. When we learn to forgive, to listen, to show up for each other, we are planting seeds that grow into something lasting. What we do with the lessons we're given can inspire change in others. A single act of courage or compassion inspired by what we've experienced can ripple far beyond us. Legacies are not just built on achievements, they're built on understanding. The more we reflect, the more we begin to carry those lessons into how we treat people, how we raise children, how we care for our communities. We may not even notice it, but the lessons we hold shape the tone of our voice, the gentleness of our hands, the way we reach out. In this way, what we've been through doesn't just become a memory, it becomes a guide. The hardest moments in life often become the ones that teach us the most about what really matters and how we choose to carry that forward. In the difficult moments that follow loss, tragedy, or change, something extraordinary often happens. People begin to reach for one another. In those moments of confusion and sorrow, kindness becomes a powerful force. It might be a neighbor checking in with warm food, a child offering a drawing to lift someone's spirit, or a stranger holding the door just a moment longer. These small, tender gestures seem simple, but they carry great weight. They remind us we're not alone. During the aftermath of hard times, when the world feels uncertain or broken, kindness becomes a bridge. It connects people who might not have spoken otherwise. It softens the sharp edges of pain and replaces silence with comfort. Compassion multiplies quickly. One act inspires another. A person who receives help may go on to help someone else, and before long, a whole network of care begins to grow. It's in these quiet choices, listening without judgment, offering a warm smile, giving time to someone who needs it, that we begin to see humanity at its best. When people choose kindness during hardship, they become part of a healing process, larger than themselves. They become part of a story that says even in sorrow there is still good. This kind of response becomes a legacy in itself. Long after the event has passed, people will remember how others treated them in their most vulnerable times. Those memories will shape how they treat others in the future. It's easy to underestimate how much kindness matters, but in the aftermath, it can be the light that helps someone find their way. It shows up not just in grand gestures, but in the quiet decision to care. And when that caring is shared, it doesn't just stay, it grows. When something important happens, something that touches hearts or changes lives, it doesn't just disappear once the moment passes. It lingers in the form of memory. People carry those moments with them, sometimes in photographs, sometimes in words, and sometimes in the quiet spaces of their hearts. These memories help keep the meaning alive. They're a way of honoring what once was and sharing it with others. A father may tell stories of someone he lost to his children. A teacher may pass down a lesson learned from a difficult time. A community may gather each year to remember an event that changed them all. These shared memories form a thread between the past and the future. They remind people of who they are, what they've overcome, and what they still hold dear. Sometimes, legacies are built without intention, just through how someone lived their life. The way they smiled at strangers, helped without asking, or stood up for what was right. Those moments get remembered not just because of what was done, but because of how it made others feel. Meaning grows from feeling. The stories people tell, the ways they remember, become part of the legacy that lives on. They pass it forward like a light, showing others what matters. And in doing so, they keep the heart of someone or something alive. Even long after someone is gone or a moment has passed, the impact can still be felt. Not in grand speeches or statues, but in the everyday lives of those who remember and live a little differently because of it. Memories are more than just looking back. They're how we bring the past with us in gentle, meaningful ways. They help us remember what we learned, what we loved, and what we hope to keep carrying forward. A legacy doesn't only belong to the past, it becomes a quiet responsibility for those who remain. When someone leaves behind lessons, values, or memories, they become part of a living story that continues through the actions of others. Carrying a legacy forward means choosing to reflect the good that was left behind. It means remembering, not just what someone said, but how they lived, how they made people feel, how they treated others when it mattered most. This kind of responsibility is not heavy like a burden. It's gentle, like a guiding hand. It asks people to consider their choices, to honor what came before by building something meaningful from it. Often, people carry forward what they admired most: kindness, strength, honesty, love. These qualities become part of how they raise their children, how they speak to others, how they respond to the world around them. Carrying a legacy also means not letting the lessons fade. When someone stood up for justice or chose peace in a time of conflict, remembering and continuing that path matters. It means the legacy doesn't stop with one person or one time. It grows and continues to touch lives. Each time a person chooses to live with compassion or courage, they are adding to what came before. They are saying, through their actions, that the story still matters. This is how legacies are kept alive. Not through perfect memory, but through living truthfully in their spirit. It's in the everyday choices to love a little more, to speak a little softer, to help without being asked. People carry forward not just names or dates, but feelings, hopes, and ideals. And through that quiet responsibility, they become part of the story themselves, part of something greater, lasting, and deeply human. When people think of legacy, they often imagine grand actions or big achievements. But the truth is, the things that last the longest are usually the smallest moments. A warm smile when someone needed comfort, a quiet word of encouragement, a gentle hand offered during a difficult time. These are the kinds of moments that stay in a person's heart. They may seem ordinary, but they can shape the way someone feels about the world. One small act of kindness can be remembered for years, even passed on to others without ever being planned. It becomes a quiet ripple spreading farther than anyone expected. Legacies are made not only by leaders or heroes, but by everyday people who choose to care. It's the teacher who listens to a struggling student, the friend who checks in during a tough day, the stranger who gives without expecting anything back. These small acts build trust, love, and hope, and they're often remembered even more clearly than larger events. People don't always remember what was said in a speech, but they do remember how they felt when someone showed up for them. In the end, it's the simple moments of honesty and compassion that carry the most meaning. They become habits passed from one generation to the next. Children watch these little choices and learn from them. Communities grow stronger from them. The most powerful legacies are built not in headlines but in homes, in neighborhoods, in the small corners of everyday life. These moments create a sense of belonging and purpose. They remind people that they matter, that they're seen, and that goodness still exists. So when people wonder what kind of legacy they might leave behind, they can begin with the smallest gesture, knowing that even one act of love can echo forever. And so, in the quiet unfolding of time, the aftermath of what we've lived through becomes more than just memory. It becomes a part of who we are. Through healing, reflection, kindness, remembrance, responsibility, and small loving acts, we shape a legacy not just for ourselves, but for others who come after us. We don't need to be extraordinary to leave something meaningful behind. We only need to choose love when it's hard, compassion when it's quiet, and truth when it matters most. In doing so, we become the living thread that connects the past to the future, a gentle reminder that even in the wake of loss or change, something beautiful can still grow.